This week we had Alien Day pass, April 26. For those that don't know, April 26 is considered Alien Day amongst the fans because in the original movie they first encountered the alien creature on LV 426. So yes, 426, April 26, that is Alien Day. The franchise has its own day after it. That's how much the fans love the Alien series. And now while we did get some interesting news on this day, such as a new horde map and switch port for Alien Fireteam Elite, and even some very small information about the upcoming new Alien movie, I wanted to take a step back and remember Alien Isolation, a game I consider to be one of the greatest game entries in the Alien gaming universe. And let's see what new buzz was surrounding this incredible game. But anyways, before we take a deep dive into this video, I want to take a brief moment and welcome anyone new to the channel. If you are new, please consider subscribing. I got a ton of stuff in the works that I'd love to share with you all. Also, if you do happen to enjoy the video, let me know by dropping a like. But anyways guys, we got a lot to get into, so without further ado, let's get into it. So let's kick things off and check in on IGN and see what they decided to do this week. And in my opinion, they once again proved that there's a lack of oversight at this news publication. What I mean by this is, well, this week, because of Alien Day, IGN put out a video discussing why the 5th mission in Alien Isolation is basically an all-around masterpiece. IGN was praising the Alien AI, the lighting, and even how the save point systems tie into the tension and how it just makes the level and the overall experience incredible and something that any Alien fan should enjoy. But don't take my word for it. Let's just listen to some of the highlights that IGN put into this video when discussing this level in the game.
By allowing these moments of relief, the save points tie Alien Isolation's ideas together. The astonishing adaptive intelligence of the xenomorph is obviously the key to the experience, but the entire thing would fail if the alien could reliably defeat you each and every time. This is a survival horror, and the player must make it through alive to not only complete the game, but to also live an experience that replicates that of Ellen Ripley in the original film. The save points, distraction tools, sightlines, and lighting in the quarantine all combine to help the player survive this terrifying ordeal, and ultimately provide an unforgettable introduction to one of gaming's most terrifying hunters.
Man, that video made this game sound amazing, which I 100% agree with. Alien Isolation is definitely a must-play game. And if you're an Alien fan like I am, and you haven't played Alien Isolation, do yourself a favor and definitely check it out. However, that video was put out recently on April 26, 2023, but Alien Isolation came out nearly a decade ago, back in 2014. And since this game was considered to be a masterpiece, at least to me and IGN in this video, why have we never gotten a sequel? Well, you know what? Let's go back to 2014 and take a look at the review that IGN put out. Let's see if all the wonderful Alien AI, that perfect lighting, and that tension that this video mentioned was actually in the review back in the past. And let's see. Wow, the game got a 5.9 out of 10, calling the game mediocre. Wow, imagine if IGN back then actually did a proper review of the game. Would it have reflected in the sales of the game? I most likely say yes. Sometimes people base what they buy, at least on day one, on game reviews. So if a game is called mediocre in the review, people are not gonna buy it day one at full price. Now I know, we should not pay attention to reviews and we should play the game ourselves to make our own individual informed opinion on each and every game. However, let's be realistic. The average gamer has responsibilities and a life. And whether we are in school full-time or working full-time jobs, our playtime is limited. And the vast majority of us don't have an infinite supply of money to buy every game at day one. So between having limited video game time and a finite supply of money that we feel comfortable spending on our hobby, which is video games, many of us often look to the reviews to try to make an informed opinion on which game is worth it buying at full price and which game is likely we should pass on. And back then, it wasn't just IGN that gave the game a terrible review. Even GameSpot gave this game a 6 out of 10. However, after post-release and through word of mouth, news spread that this game was amazing and in my opinion has become sort of a cult classic and a favorite amongst the Alien fan base. So yes, in today's world, these companies have completely changed their tune. And this is the problem. IGN wants it both ways. They want to be able to give a review, but constantly backtrack on their reviews if the community does not agree with them after the fact. In fact, this is not the first time they've done this. Even back in 2010, they gave Final Fantasy XIII an 8.9, calling the game great. Now a review score is just part of the story. Let's take a look at the final verdict for Final Fantasy XIII. And they say, Final Fantasy XIII is a great JRPG and sports a fast-paced, challenging, satisfying battle system. The game also boasts an incredible story, a likable cast, and the best visuals in the series as of yet. But hardcore fans might be disappointed by the game's abandonment of franchise traditions, like open worlds, town exploration, and complex mini games. The game is still worth buying, but it doesn't feel quite as complete as well as its loved predecessors. So yeah, Final Fantasy XIII they made sound like a pretty killer game. Sure, it was a break from the traditional Final Fantasy games, but it was fast-paced, a great story, incredible cast, engaging battle systems. Why would you pass this up? Plus, it's an 8.9. It's basically a 9 out of 10. However, when Final Fantasy did come out and people actually got to play it, boy did they not agree with this review, at least the vast majority of people. The game was called a hallway simulator. People criticized the game, stating that it felt like it just played itself. Well, you know what? What did IGN do with this? Did they stand their ground and say, no, we like the game and here's our reasons why? Well, you know what? Let's take a look at the end of 2010 and let's look at their most disappointing games for that year. And the number one game on their list for the most disappointing game of 2010 was Final Fantasy XIII. And they even made statements to say that being merely okay is not good enough. Here's also what they had to say about Final Fantasy XIII after they saw what the fans thought. Some have praised this entry for signaling a bold departure for the series, a change of direction, and new flavor. Frankly, if this is how Square Enix views the future direction of its major JRPG releases, we are more than a little irked. Bruz, are you talking about yourself? You gave the game a 9 out of 10 or an 8.9 out of 10. You praised it for departing from the OG formula, but then the fans didn't like it and you decided to backtrack on your own review and called it the most disappointing game of 2010. So you did this back in 2010 with Final Fantasy XIII, and now you're doing it again with Alien Isolation. And before anyone says IGN is made up of different people and it's just one person's opinion for the review, first of all, I want to say we need to get out of the mindset that when it comes to professional gaming journalists, that reviews are just personal opinions. These people are supposed to be professionals. They're paid to be critical and had objective critiques of games. Secondly, I don't know why these publications get this pass. Imagine if the New York Times put out a super god-awful article with false information and just, it was like just terribly written. It was just bad. Would you say that it was just one person at the New York Times and not the New York Times itself's fault, even though that one journalist got their editors to review it, got their superiors to publish it? Would you criticize the journalist or would you criticize the New York Times? I think we all know the answer to this. IGN is a gaming journalist publication. So unless they're letting their journalists have free reign and just publish any articles on their official website and post any videos on their official YouTube channel that the journalist wants, it's not one person's fault. Each video and article should represent the company as a whole. And honestly, if they do let their journalists publish whatever awful take they want without any oversight, without any approval, I would still blame IGN as a company, because it means that they need better management. But I want to hear what you all think. Do you guys agree with me and think there's obviously a major problem with these massive gaming publications? Are you tired of reviews that seem to just have awful takes, or they talk about something in the review and when you read the article, the score at the end doesn't actually match the review that they wrote? Or do you think I'm completely wrong? Let me know in the comments down below. As for me, I got a ton of work to do, so I'm gonna get back to the grind and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.